New Year's Day in the 1970s meant more than champagne and countdowns. It meant survival food turned sacred. Black families filled their tables with dishes believed to bring luck, wealth, and protection for the year ahead. Each bite carried history, whispered by grandmothers who learned from their mothers. These weren't just recipes. They were rituals passed down through generations who transformed scarcity into abundance and hardship into hope. Let's walk through 15 dishes that anchored every black household's New Year celebration. Black-eyed peas. Eating black-eyed peas on New Year's Day for good luck is an old African-American tradition with West African roots. European settlers added the superstition of a coin in the pot, and millions of Southerners continue to make the peas for prosperity. In the kitchen, peas are soaked overnight and slowly simmered with ham hocks or smoked turkey until tender, seasoned with onions and spices, filling the house with a savory aroma that signals the holiday has officially begun. The dish is served with dinner on January 1st at home or after watch night services, and everyone is encouraged to eat at least a spoonful. No exceptions, not even for picky children. Each pea symbolizes a coin, and some families drop a dime into the pot for extra luck, turning the meal into a treasure hunt, where finding the coin means an especially blessed year. The practice honors ancestors who turned humble ingredients into a promise of abundance, reminding everyone that wealth starts with gratitude and a full belly. No New Year's table felt complete without a steaming bowl of black-eyed peas. 2. Collard greens. Dark leafy greens such as collards or cabbage are eaten to symbolize folded dollar bills. The tradition dates back to southern fields where collards were winter staples that fed families through the coldest months. In the kitchen, greens are simmered for hours with ham hocks, smoked turkey, or hog jowl seasoned with onions, pepper, and a splash of vinegar that cuts the richness and brightens every bite. They're served alongside peas and cornbread at the New Year's Day meal, often at family homes or church potluck gatherings where pots are compared and recipes are guarded like state secrets. Elders joke that every bite of greens is worth $1,000, urging children to eat plenty so prosperity will follow. Kids who refused were met with stern looks and lectures about respect and fortune. Collards stand in for cabbage in the South and are a tangible hope for wealth in the coming year. Their deep green color, a visual promise of money yet to come. The smell of simmering greens meant home, tradition, and the unshakable belief that the year ahead would be better. The tree hoppin' john, a one-pot dish of rice and peas that traces back to South Carolina's Low Country and the Gullah community. It's eaten on New Year's Day for good luck and is said to bring wealth and peace. Cooks boil smoked ham hocks or hog maw to make a rich stock, then add field peas, red peas, or black-eyed peas and rice, simmering until the grains are fluffy and the meat tender, creating a dish that's hearty, comforting, and deeply flavorful. Hoppin' john is served at lunch or dinner on January 1st, with collard greens, and some families slip a dime into the pot or under the plate for added fortune, turning the meal into a game of chance, blending African culinary heritage with New Year's superstition. Hoppin' john reminds families of resourcefulness and the endurance of Gullah culture, a cuisine born from creativity and survival. Children learn to appreciate every spoonful, understanding that this simple dish connected them to ancestors who cooked with love and little else. The steam rising from the pot carried stories of rice fields, coastal towns, and unbroken traditions that refuse to fade. 4. Cornbread. A golden pan of cornbread completes the New Year's spread. Its color represents gold or pocket money, promising financial prosperity and ensuring every meal feels abundant. Batter made from cornmeal and buttermilk is baked in a cast iron skillet until the crust is crisp, or shaped into hot water cornbread patties and fried until golden, each method producing a slightly different texture but the same comforting taste. Cornbread is served warm on New Year's Day with peas and greens, and pieces are used to sop up juices and pot liquor at home or church, transforming leftovers into a second meal. The buttery yellow color symbolizes money, and families remind one another that you need your cornbread to go with your greens for a well-rounded fortune, linking the dishes in both flavor and meaning. Children fought over the corner pieces with the crispiest edges, and mothers cut extra squares to keep the peace. Cornbread wasn't fancy, but it was necessary, a humble staple that carried the weight of tradition, hope, and the promise that prosperity was just one bite away. 5. Hogi jowl. Cured hog jowl or other pork is eaten on New Year's because pigs root forward, symbolizing progress and prosperity, while chickens scratch backward and are considered bad luck for the holiday. In the kitchen, thick slices of smoked hog jowl are fried like bacon or simmered with peas and greens to season them, releasing a smoky, savory scent that announced the holiday in kitchens across the South. Hog jowl is served on New Year's morning with eggs or later at dinner with other holiday dishes, and the crispy slices are passed around the table with pride and reverence. Parents tell children that eating pork sets you moving forward into the new year, and refusing it could mean a year of setbacks, a warning that kept plates clean and traditions intact. The savory smell of frying jowl filled the house before dawn, waking everyone with the promise of a meal that tasted like progress and smelled like hope. For families who could afford it, a slab of hog jowl was a small luxury that carried big meaning. 6. Chitterlings, hog intestines. Painstakingly cleaned and boiled, chitterlings became part of New Year celebrations because enslaved Africans were given pig offal and turned it into a delicacy, reclaiming dignity from scraps. In the kitchen, chitterlings are soaked, scrubbed, and simmered for hours with vinegar, onions, and peppers, and the pungent steam often requires cooking outdoors or with every window open to spare the rest of the house. They're served at dinner, with collard greens and hot sauce, often at large family gatherings where chitlin cleaning becomes a communal activity with aunties, cousins, and neighbors sharing the labor and the laughter. For many elders, chitterlings represent survival and ingenuity, honoring ancestors who made a meal from scraps and taught their children never to waste what they were given. Not everyone loved the taste or the smell, but eating chitterlings on New Year's was a badge of honor, proof that you understood where you came from and respected those who came before. The dish sparked debates, laughter, and pride in equal measure. 7. Pai tea liquor. The mineral-rich broth, left after simmering collards or turnip greens with smoked meat. Southerners prize pot liquor as a nourishing elixir that holds all the flavor, vitamins, and soul of the greens themselves. Once the greens are lifted out, cooks ladle the savory liquor over cornbread or use it to make a soup with dumplings or beans, stretching one dish into two, and wasting nothing in the process. Pot liquor is often consumed after the New Year's meal or saved for the next day, and some sip it from a glass as a tonic, believing it clears the head and strengthens the body for the year ahead. Elders taught children never to waste pot liquor. It's a reminder of thrift and the resilience of those who nourished families with leftovers, turning what others might pour down the drain into liquid gold. The broth was dark, salty, and rich, and sopping it up with cornbread felt like communion with ancestors who knew hunger and still created abundance. Pot liquor wasn't an afterthought. It was the prize. 8. Gumbo, a hearty stew of okra, seafood, sausage, and sometimes turkey. In many Gulf Coast Black families, gumbo is part of New Year's tables and signals cultural pride, connecting Louisiana roots to the present. Gumbo starts with a dark roux, then okra, crab, shrimp, and smoked sausage are added and simmered for hours, layering flavors until every spoonful tells a story of patience and care. It's ladled over rice and eaten at New Year gatherings or watch night suppers, with big pots feeding extended family and neighbors who drop by unannounced but always welcome. Turning down grandma's gumbo could be seen as rejecting one's heritage. The stew embodies Louisiana roots and community warmth, a dish that demands respect and a second helping. Children learn to appreciate the complexity, the heat, the smokiness, the way each ingredient played its part, and understood that gumbo was more than food. It was identity, history, and love, simmered low and slow until everything melted together into something unforgettable. 9. Sweet potato pie, a dessert made from mashed sweet potatoes, spiced with cinnamon and nutmeg. It replaced pumpkin pie in Black homes and appears in New Year and Kwanzaa feasts, closing every celebration with sweetness and pride. Sweet potatoes are roasted, mashed with butter and sugar, poured into a flaky crust, and baked until set. Pies are often made in batches, so there's plenty to share with neighbors and church members. Slices are served after New Year dinners and Kwanzaa celebrations, and leftovers are enjoyed cold from the fridge in the days that follow, their flavor deepening with time. Sweet potato pie evokes memories of grandmothers and Sunday suppers. It connects African yams to American survival and symbolizes cultural continuity, a bridge between continents and generations. The filling was smooth, spiced just right, and every bite tasted like home, warm, familiar, and made with hands that knew exactly how much love to fold in. No store-bought pie could compete with one baked by someone who learned the recipe by watching, not reading. 10. Red beans and rice. A Louisiana tradition where red beans simmered with ham bones are served over rice. In some black families, this New Year dish is believed to bring good luck, especially when eaten on the first day of January. The leftover ham bone from Sunday is cooked with kidney beans, onions, celery, and spices until creamy, then spooned over fluffy rice, creating a dish that's filling, flavorful, and deeply satisfying. Red beans and rice is eaten on January 1st, often mid-afternoon, freeing up time for chores like washing clothes, since the pot bubbles unattended, making it practical and delicious in equal measure. Using leftovers to create a nourishing meal reflects thrift and self-reliance, and the dish is passed down as a mandatory part of the holiday, because you can't start the year without red beans and rice. Children grew up believing this, and even after moving away, they'd call home to confirm the beans were on the stove. The dish was comfort, tradition, and a promise that no matter what, family would always feed you. 11. Ham hocks and neck bones. Smoked ham hocks, or neck bones, flavor peas, beans, and greens. They are essential seasoning meats in New Year cooking, transforming simple vegetables into rich, soul-satisfying dishes. In the kitchen, hocks are simmered to make a savory broth. The tender meat is shredded into dishes while the bone enriches the stock, and every pot benefits from the smoky depth these cuts provide. They're included in pots of peas and collards for New Year's dinner, and children often gnaw on the salty meat when the pot is done, treating the bones like a prize after the meal is served. Using these inexpensive cuts to stretch ingredients honors ancestors' ingenuity and reminds families that even bones can yield abundance, that nothing is wasted and everything has value. Elders would say the flavor's in the bone, teaching younger generations that the best meals come from patience and respect for every part of the animal. A pot without a ham hock wasn't just incomplete, it was missing its soul, the secret ingredient that made everything else worth eating. 12. Eeg maw and pig's feet. Hog stomach, hog maw, and pig's feet are slow-cooked delicacies. These parts were among the scraps given to enslaved people and continue to be prepared for holiday meals, carrying history in every bite. In the kitchen, hog maw is cleaned, stuffed, or stewed with spices, while pig's feet are pickled or braised until gelatinous. Both are seasoned with vinegar and peppers, filling the house with a sharp, tangy aroma that announced something special was cooking. They're plated at New Year dinners or exchanged in covered dishes with neighbors. Some older children grow into the acquired taste, learning to appreciate textures and flavors that take time to understand. Serving these dishes honors the tradition of nose-to-tail cooking and celebrates the strength of those who made do with what little they had, turning scraps into centerpieces and survival into art. Not everyone could stomach pig's feet, but those who did wore it like a badge, proof they came from people who refused to let anything or anyone go to waste. The gelatinous texture and vinegary bite were polarizing, unforgettable, and deeply respected. 13. Fried fish. In some black southern households, fried fish replaces poultry on New Year's because it's believed that eating fowl might make good luck fly away. Fish symbolize forward movement and progress into the new year. In the kitchen, catfish or whiting fillets are dredged in seasoned cornmeal and fried in hot oil until crispy, then sprinkled with lemon or hot sauce, creating a golden crust that crackles with every bite. Fried fish is served at New Year's Eve suppers or brunch on January 1st, alongside greens and cornbread. Families gather in the kitchen while batches are fried in cast iron skillets, the oil popping and the smell drawing everyone near. Elders explain that fish move forward and never backward, so eating fish will carry your fortunes ahead, while abstaining from chicken keeps luck from taking flight. A lesson passed down with every fillet placed on the plate. Children watch the fish turn golden and listen to the superstitions, learning that even the choice of protein carried meaning and intention. A platter of hot-fried fish was more than a meal. It was a roadmap for the year ahead. 14. Soup joumou, Haitian tradition. Among Haitian Americans, New Year's Day is incomplete without soup joumou, a squash soup that commemorates Haitian independence. Enslaved Africans were forbidden to eat it, so it symbolizes freedom and triumph over oppression. In the kitchen, calabaza, or kabocha squash, is pureed with cloves and herbs, then combined with marinated beef, pasta, and vegetables to create a hearty stew that's vibrant, aromatic, and deeply satisfying. Families start cooking in the early hours of January 1st and share big pots of soup with relatives and neighbors, turning the day into a communal celebration of heritage, resilience, and the promise of a better future. Eating soup joumou each New Year honors ancestors' struggle for liberation and serves as a toast to resilience and liberation, a ritual that connects Haitian communities across generations and borders. The soup was rich, warming, and full of history, a dish that tasted like victory and smelled like hope. Children grew up knowing that this was more than food. It was a declaration that freedom was worth celebrating every single year. 15. Kadaintie Karamu Feast. The last day of Kwanzaa, Imani, coincides with New Year's Day. Many African American families celebrate with a feast of symbolic foods such as black-eyed peas, greens, and sweet potato pie, honoring both the holiday and the new year. In the kitchen, dishes are prepared with care. Peas simmered, greens seasoned, pies baked, and a kinara of 7 candles lights the table, each flame representing one of the Nonguzo Saba principles that guide the celebration. The feast is held at home or community centers on December 31st or January 1st. Children recite the 7 principles while elders lead prayers and pour from the unity cup, sharing libations for ancestors and blessings for the future. The feast reinforces cultural pride and unity, sharing traditional dishes while reflecting on past struggles and hopes for the future, tying the new year to African heritage, creating a bridge between history and possibility. Every dish carried meaning. Every bite was intentional, and the table became a sacred space where food, faith, and family converged. The Kwanzaa feast wasn't just a meal, it was a mission statement, a reminder that culture, community, and self-determination were worth celebrating every day, but especially on the first. Conclusion. These 15 dishes weren't just food, they were prayers. Each pot simmered with hope. Each plate carried the weight of ancestors who survived by turning scraps into sacred meals. Black families in the 1970s didn't just eat on New Year's Day, they made declarations. Every black-eyed pea was a coin they'd earn. Every leaf of collard greens was a dollar bill waiting to fold. Every bite of cornbread was gold in their pockets. The traditions weren't superstition. They were survival strategies wrapped in culture, passed down by people who understood that belief creates reality, that ritual builds resilience, and that sitting together at a table full of food, even simple food, was its own kind of wealth. These dishes taught that prosperity isn't just about money, it's about gratitude, it's about community. It's about honoring where you came from while believing in where you're going. So when you see black-eyed peas on New Year's Day, know they're not just legumes, they're legacy. When you smell collard greens simmering, you're smelling centuries of hope. And when you taste sweet potato pie, you're tasting freedom, one sweet spiced bite at a time. That's what New Year's meant in Black households. Not just a new calendar year, but a new chance, a new promise, and a table full of proof that you were going to make it through, one blessed bite at a time.